people who speak Chicano English, some people call it the LA Latino accent. Yeah. You'll pronounce barely, like barely. And then two, there's a nuance to how you use the word. So barely can mean two things.
We have our guest of the day. He's an award-winning journalist, bilingual journalist, and creator of In The Hyphen on YouTube, which is a digital community dedicated to deeply researched, visually cinematic stories about U.S. Latinos. Let's welcome Fernando Hurtado.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we were just talking off mic because you are a professor at USC.
Yes.
And I was like, what days do you teach? And he's like, Tuesdays, actually. I'm like, oops, but
you ditched.
But it's spring break. So he's on spring break hanging out with Desmadre.
I'm not playing hooky. I'm not playing hooky.
Okay,
I got
okay.
lucky. Yes.
But I love that you're spending your spring break with us.
Of
I know.
course.
What an honor.
What a desmadre.
Yeah.
Well,
We should bring him a shot or something.
My students always ask, what are you doing for spring break? I'm like, working. Like, we just work. I'm not going to.
You're like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be on television.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah. Tune in.
Yeah.
While they're in Cabo,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish
spring break.
that would be so tight if they did. If
Take
they
us
were
with
like
you.
just like watching us from a bar. Like they're like, look at our teacher, bro. He's
They're
on
definitely
TV.
not.
Come on. Where are they? Somebody said what's up on the chat to you though.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh my God, what's up?
Siomarak said, can't
Oh,
wait to see my
Xiomara.
boy Fernando Hurtado.
Yes, I think that's Xiomara, my homegirl from elementary school in Chicago. Shout out
Oh
to
my
the
God.
773. Oh, she's a
Are
real
you
one.
are you still friends with like a lot of your homies
I'm
from
actually
like
not friends with her. Okay, no.
I don't even know her.
Whatever.
I actually cut her off. I don't know what she's doing there.
Yeah, please don't say hi to us on YouTube.
No, yeah.
just kidding, I'm kidding.
I'm friends with a lot of people from elementary school, like randomly, because I randomly went to boarding school for high school through a foundation
Wow.
that gave us like full rides. So I'm friends with a lot of my fellow full riders who went
Yeah.
to random boarding schools.
Boarding
across-
school sounds so rich.
It was wild.
Different
I-
tax bracket.
I mean, my cousins from London, they lived in London and they were my first cousins and they like all went to boarding school with the two girls and I remember like that's their family. The
Yeah.
girls that they went to school with are like their best friend, family, sister.
like
they're
literally who you grew up with.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you're closer to them than you are literally to like your own some real cousins or
Yeah,
whatever.
Because you spend your most formative years there, and you're spending every single minute together.
Yeah.
And it was a co-ed school, so it was. People always ask if it was like a military school, and it wasn't. It was like a quote unquote normal school. It felt like summer camp.
So at boarding school, did you know then you're like, I want to be a journalist?
Yeah.
Is that where you found out that that's
Actually,
what you wanted
yes,
to do?
I was editor-in-chief of the high school newspaper, and I didn't like it because of the journalism, so to speak. I liked it because of InDesign. For people who don't know what InDesign is, it's where you design the paper, and I like that part. I like the part of like designing it, and then we would do these like promo videos for each issue that came out, and I like that part. I like producing and directing and filming those promo videos for the issues. Not so much the journalism. Now I love the journalism.
Do you like Canva?
I love it.
You're like, that's how I know how to move things around.
I feel like I'm like a graphic designer when I'm on Canva.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, tell me what you want.
I'm a Canva pro.
Oh my God, we could download a font and put it. What?
Yeah.
Can you add us to your account? We need
Yeah,
to have the pro.
Do you have a pro account?
I do have a pro account. But they keep raising the price, so they better calm
I know.
down.
It's like $14.99 Canva. Give us a deal.
Yeah.
Fernando, I remember that when I went to college and when I saw the first Latino professor, he was like an English lit professor, I think, or anything. I was just like, wow, they exist.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a story for a lot of like Latinos that enter like higher education, right? Just to see one of us at that degree.
Especially at USC.
Yeah.
Exactly, especially at USC. Talk to us about your desire to stick to like Latino history and teaching at USC.
I think I can draw a direct line to USC from that because I grew up in Chicago, then I go to boarding school in the central coast of California, and then I moved to LA. LA to me was this fantastic playground where USC wasn't that diverse when I was there, but LA sure was, right? So you have this kind of little different world within this larger, very diverse city. But at USC, I got lucky, to your point. I actually had two Latino professors, right? Which I was like, wait,
Wow.
what? And these were story journalists who had really very intense careers and successful careers. So being in LA and being in like, I think one of the hotbeds and one of the birthplaces of so much Latino history in the US, there's just so many stories to tell here. So that was for sure where that desire started.
And then part of your background was you worked for NBC, and then you also worked for Telemundo, and you quit your traditional jobs to do content creating and do your own journalism.
Yeah.
So like that is kind of a scary jump, especially for like Latinos. Like
It's not encouraged.
my mom would be like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
What are you-"
yeah.
Like that's
Eso no es
scary.
trabajo.
So how
No
did
security.
you make that jump?
Well, I was just tired of having a 401k and healthcare, you know?
Yeah, who wants a
Who wants
pension?
that?
Who wants a pension? We don't even know what it means.
Yeah, no, it was, this innate desire that you have deep inside that you kind of keep ignoring. I think we all have those that we're like, should I no, that's not for me, that's not for me. And then you start asking yourself, well, what if it is for me? What if I can be an independent journalist? And I turned 30, so that also, you have your identity crisis and you're like, what am I doing with my life? And I just didn't want to regret not trying. So I was like, listen, I'm in such a privileged position where I've gotten so much help in my life and to get to where I am. And if I don't take advantage of where I am, like who is going to, you know? So I took the leap, and I'll tell you something interesting. When I told my mom that I was gonna leave NBC to basically become a YouTuber,
She cut you off.
She said, yeah, time out.
no, she was like, it was the first job she understood
Ooh.
what it was. You know, at
Wow.
NBC, she always thought I worked at like USC because she confused it with NBC. I was like, which I guess I do work at USC, so she wasn't totally far off. But it was the first job that clicked for her, and that was part of my mission too. You know, I know that Latinos are over-indexed on YouTube and on social media, period, and I wanted to be where that conversation was.
Did you have a story that stood out to you that after you were done like reporting on it or in the middle of it, you were like, this is for me?
Yeah, and that's
Yeah?
such a good question. Yes, it was one of the reasons I left NBC was because I had this story just like pinned down that I knew I wanted to do, and that story was about Chicano English, which is a variety of American English. I've always been fascinated with how people speak. I was trying to guess where everyone was from.
Can you please guess?
Can you do it? I feel like I already said though when you were here.
You're Florida for sure.
Ew, no, I don't know where that is.
I was gonna say East Coast, not Florida, Northeast, but then you started mentioning like a lot. You mentioned USC, which obviously anyone from anywhere in the U.S. can go to USC. But I was like, oh, she's a West Coaster.
But me actually, like me, I
Oh.
didn't give you that. I didn't
Okay.
give you West Coaster. I was giving you East Coast.
You were giving me East Coast.
Oh wow.
I'm born and raised LA, East LA.
Oh wow!
Yes.
That's what I meant. East
It was
Coast
the
of LA.
East.
Yeah.
We didn't let him finish. We didn't let him finish.
Yeah.
And then
Coast of LA.
you
Paisano.
from Chicago or from LA?
Oh, from here.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my guess. SoCal for sure, but I couldn't place you if it was like LA or OC. There's a difference.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, OC.
There's actually
more like
a
IE.
test, right?
Yes.
The barely test.
Oh yeah.
Talk to us about that.
So the barely test. So Chicano English. The reason I did this story is because I kept hearing people talk like this in LA, like, dude, like, where are you going? Like, and I was like,
With the
that's
hot Cheeto fingers?
with the hot
That was
Cheeto
AK. That was AK.
With the nail, the big acrylic seal.
AK's for sure SoCal. AK's for sure.
Fingers.
Really? You could tell? That's
Yes.
crazy.
And so the Chicano English, people who speak Chicano English, some people call it the LA Latino accent.
Yeah.
You'll pronounce barely like barely. And then two, there's a nuance to how you use the word. So barely can mean two things. It can mean almost not, like, oh, I barely made it here on time. Like, casi no llegué a tiempo, right? And then there's the other meaning that's like, I just recently made it. And so Chicano English speakers use it as just recently, like, hey, dude, I barely got here. Why are you leaving?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh
yes.
yeah. That is a difference. Cause like as you now know, I'm from Miami.
And you barely moved here.
And like barely, like the thing is though, I didn't barely move here, pero I'm like, we have our own language.
Oh, yeah.
Like we create, like it's so wild because sometimes I remember when I first moved out here, I would say like certain things. I'd be like, bro, I gotta run a mission, and people are like, what do you mean you gotta run a mission? Like a mission like of like God? And I'm like, nah, like I gotta like drive really far and like do some stuff for work and like
Yeah.
that. Like so
Yeah.
it's so interesting to like see like the difference in like the cities
Well,
and
do you
stuff.
say there's Miami English too? You've heard of that?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Do you use get down from the car?
No, get off the car.
Get off the car. Sorry,
Get
that
off
one.
the car.
It's get off the car.
Get off the car.
Yeah, everybody makes fun of me here when
And
I
like
say
no
that.
one's on the car.
Yeah,
Relax.
and when I say yeah, no. No, yeah. And like they're like, wait, what? Like,
Dale.
Is it yeah or is it no?
is it no? It depends.
She didn't say yeah. She said dale.
Yeah.
People on YouTube are having an identity crisis right now. I think going through the barely test.
Nah, it's because we classify as the hot Cheeto fingers. Like,
But you know what? When he said that, you say barely like this. I was like,
Barely.
yeah, barely.
Barely.
And I screamed.
Well, you could also do the dude test, which is one I came up with. I'm not a linguist, but say dude.
Dude.
Say dude.
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 Oh my God, I
Okay.
said it different.
Yeah. say dude.
Dude.
Okay.
You sounded a little
you're
like me.
professional.
Yeah.
You did it all professional.
Wait, how did
What
we
is a
say
dude
it?
test?
How did
Well,
we
my
say it?
theory is that based on the interviews I did with Chicano English speakers is that they say dude, like dude, kind of
Yeah.
like dude.
Es que es like más like lento. I don't know how to explain. I always say like están bien tropical.
Yeah.
Bien tropical. Como
That's how my son says dude now. He goes dude.
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 Because
Dude.
he's mainly speaking Spanish, so we're speaking
I-
English in my
That's
house.
cute.
But he
that's
goes,
good. That's
dude,
impressive.
Dude, I'll say, dude, stop doing that. He goes, okay, dude.
And then he's like, dude, where's my car?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're raising a Spanish fluent child.
Yeah, he's mostly
go.
Spanish, but really because you didn't get where I was from, we spoke English in the house. So now I am trying to change that
Yeah.
and speak Spanish in the house. My husband is Colombian Peruvian, and he spoke Spanish in the house. And I'm like, I want us to be speaking more Spanish. He's going to learn English at school.
And you're doing Duolingo too. You've been
I
right?
do Duolingo.
Yeah.
I hired a Spanish coach who's in Mexico City to teach me
That's so
Spanish.
cute.
That's
Yeah.
good. Round of
She was
applause.
like, I don't want him in the United States.
Learning a language as an adult is hard, and I know
It's
that
really hard.
because I did, and I'm guessing you knew Spanish.
Yes,
but
but as you were saying the Chicano, I would always tell people I know Chicano Spanglish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like even my Spanish is much different than like the proper Spanish, and now I'm learning like Spain Spanish.
Yes, you're like the colonizer Spanish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hostia, tío, estamos aquí.
Yeah.
But
That's how it is on Duolingo.
me
You
no.
can't click a Mexican flag. It's only the little
Yup.
Spain
Really?
flag.
Yeah.
You cannot click
I heard about
Mexican
that.
Spanish.
I'm like, yeah. I'm working on my. I have a list, so it's gonna be really good in June when I'm there in Spain. I was gonna say like my dad when we were little, when he would pick us up from school, like from sports, he'd be like, if you didn't speak to him in Spanish,
Yeah.
He wouldn't answer.
he wouldn't respond. The two rules: ponte seatbelt or I don't drive the car. And then
I'm interrupting for an update on
What
the
it-
Venezuela
I saw Isa
and
put your
USA
hands
game
up.
1-0. It is 1-0. Venezuela
Yeah!
is up. Venezuela is up. 1-0.
sorry.
Wait. Okay, so we have a professor.
It goes deep.
Who would you be
I
going
got
for?
the
USA or
Yeah.
Venezuela?
Who are you going
Venezuela.
for?
We got
Oh.
to support Venezuelan.
Let's
There we
go.
go.
Thank you.
The profe said it. The
Yes.
profe said it. Okay,
He's
that's very
for the
exciting.
people.
He is for the Latino people.
I know my audience.
Unlike you,
Yes.
You're like the colonizer.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's a deep dive for later.
I have a question for you. So. Oh, what?
Your mic is off.
She has a question.
Sorry. Okay. My mic was off. I got too excited with the Venezuela score. My bad.
Hot Cheeto fingers.
Yeah, I don't have hot Cheeto fingers. I have little Cuban pastelito fingers. So you saw I do man on the street,
Yeah.
and I saw that you also do man on the street. So what's the strangest or like funniest thing that a
wow.
stranger has ever said to you while you're reporting? Because I get a lot of weird stuff. Some of it does not come out on this episode.
Well, I heard your kissing story. I've not been kissed.
You have not been kissed? Well,
It's never too late. That could still
You haven't been
happen.
blessed? You haven't been
you know,
blessed?
so many men try to kiss me, and I like don't let it happen. And she
God.
was so like chill, and I was like, all right, and I just let it happen.
just felt comfortable.
And then I just walked back to the seat. I sat down, and I looked at what else I had to do
She
for
was like,
work.
this is normal.
It was
No, I do a lot of my, and I call them POS interviews instead of man on the street.
Okay.
POS because it's funny because it sounds like piece of, but it's person on the street. But I do them in a lot of them in Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh, fun.
You get the great
fun,
characters there.
fun.
No, I get tourists on their best behavior. Like you get some propositions of like, do you want to go on a date or whatever? And I'm like, no, I'm working.
Okay.
Thank you though.
Okay.
And you're going
So-
back to Omaha tomorrow. So,
So
no.
polite. Like, nah,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah. Pero mira, they have a big house in Omaha for you.
For sure, I'm sure.
Got all the land.
In The Hyphen, which is your YouTube channel, and you discuss a lot of like U.S. Latino history. Okay, so for this segment, it's gonna called Fernando Hurtado Knows, and you're gonna give us a snippet of history for these Latino phenomenons. Okay,
Shoot.
so what is the beef between Mexicans and Salvadorians?
Oh, this is a good topic. So
Please explain
Yeah.
how this started because being in LA, like I know it, but I don't know
Okay, so
why.
you did feel it,
For
or you
sure.
heard about it.
For sure. Like when we were in school, like if you found out somebody was Salvi, you'd be like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
And he probably has a bad attitude.
When I moved here, I lived on Virgil in Silver Lake, like Virgil,
yeah.
and like right by. So like it was literally one. They were like one side is Mexico, the other one is.
They're like,
Salvador.
who are you with?
I was like, I'm Cuban, bro. Like
Pick
I
a
don't
side,
know.
pick
Like
a side.
who's cuter?
Yeah, so when I moved to LA, I remember hearing about it from a friend who's Salvadoran, just nonchalantly told me like, oh yeah, Salvadorans and Mexicans don't get along. And I was like, what? I was like, and it's interesting because in Chicago, we have that for Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, which are the two dominant groups. So I was like, let me look into this. Why do people think that? So I interviewed a sociologist at Cal State Long Beach who's looked into this in part because he's Salvadoran Mexican himself and he's lived there,
Little
right?
little bias there.
Whoa.
well, he knows both sides.
Exactly.
I know.
Because what he told me, he's like, LA has one of the largest Mexican and Salvadoran population outside of those respective countries, right?
Oh, really?
Yes. So what happens, though, is that Mexicans have been here much longer, especially if you take into account the fact that California used to be part of Mexico. So you have this dominant group since the 1800s here in California, Mexicans, and then you have Salvadorans come here after the Civil War in the 80s. It come in big numbers. So then naturally you kind of start seeing this competition for resources. One of the biggest resources we can think of is jobs. Hey, I work at this office, cleaning an office, y mi supervisor es mexicano y me cae la patada, like he's treating me like crap.
Yeah.
So you innately, and I'm not saying it's right, but you innately associate that bad personality to the larger population. And so we started seeing that a lot in the 80s, 90s. And what I was interested to hear, and I'm interested to hear from you guys, is what do we hear now from younger folks about this feud, which I always use quotes because I never want to pretend that there is an actual oh my God.
He's not trying to get into gang life.
Right, like
He's like, I'm not a gangster.
I have Salvadorian friends. AK was like, I have Salvadorian friends,
Yeah.
and we're Mexican, but there has always been like this. You just know, like it's more of like a teasing thing at the level that I'm at least, like that you're just teasing somebody.
That's what I got from young people I interviewed. They're like, yeah, it's like a joke, we're trolling, but you always kind of bring it up.
I mean, I'm Cuban and everybody trolls me here, like Mexican, Salvadorian. So I feel like they're both against me.
Well, yeah, you are a minority.
I am in
LA.
it. I can't believe it. Never
But
in
that's
my
also
life.
special. Or people ever like, oh my God, that's so cool that you're Cuban?
Yeah. They. I mean, sometimes it's special and sometimes they don't like it.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, it's okay.
Who doesn't love Portos?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not the same.
I'll tell you who liked it. That woman that kissed you.
That woman.
She did like it.
That was a good callback. I'm
She
here for
wanted her
that.
little
But like in Miami,
right,
she looked Mexican. I think she was Mexican. But I was gonna say like in Miami though, there's a lot of Salvadorians too, and Nicaraguense, Guatemalteco. So there's like a lot of Central American. There's everything. It's very much a melting pot like LA. But we do not have Mexicans.
No. Yeah.
Like there ain't no Mexicans. Like I never seen so many Mexicans, so I moved out here.
So you know what's crazy that like being Mexican from LA, I felt like we were like in such bubbles, and not just like my high school, but all the high schools. Like Mexicans are the dominant group, and so if there was somebody else from like another culture, they were like the one Irish, the one Russian.
Yes.
Like that was their nickname, el ruso, el.
Oh yeah.
Mexicano,
Obvio. In Miami, if you're white, you are the minority, 100%.
Or even like how Raisa is saying, like people probably assume you're Mexican. Like if they just know you're Latina, they might assume that. Like my husband grew up also in LA, Colombian Peruvian. He's like, people assumed I was Mexican, and I wouldn't correct them because it's just like they wouldn't. He's like, I would be at college and people were trying to get me to go to Mecha, and I'm like, I'm not Mexican.
¿Qué es mecha?
Mexican. It's like a Mexican group in college.
Like a frat?
Chicano. No, it's like
an org.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And he's like, they were like trying to recruit me all the time, and
Yeah.
finally I had to tell him like, I'm not Mexican. They were like, what? Because he's moreno, like he's dark, he's like me, so people just assumed.
Okay, so we're gonna continue with Fernando Hurtado knows.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
How did the humble Nike Cortez become the sneaker of Chicano
Yes.
kings and queens?
Oh my gosh.
Also this.
I love this
This is all-
question.
Wait, this is a whole quiz. I'm like, I've done 100 videos, you guys. The Nike Cortez. I'm coming up empty on that one. What did I say about that?
Oh,
Well,
I don't.
We love them and we wanted to know why.
Nah, the Nike Cortez are like the OG Chicano
Yeah.
shoes. Like, you wear the black and whites with the white long socks,
Yeah.
and that automatically makes you a gangster.
Yeah.
I know it's a SoCal
Cholo.
classic.
I wore them at my wedding. Once, like, we
did.
started the dance, I got special Cortezes
Oh,
that had the
cute.
ribbons laced.
Did you bling them up?
Yeah, I was about to
No,
say.
it had the satin ribbons. Like,
Oh,
instead of
that's
shoelaces,
pretty.
it had satin
She
ribbons.
played the
I don't-
song "Lean Like
yeah.
a Cholo."
Okay.
It's
I'm like,
in my blood.
I
She's like,
learned
my
that.
husband better know.
Yeah, he knows.
This
He
is
knows.
what you're marrying into.
Mira, you're South American, but I'm.
Have you looked into the people that pay a premium for like U.S. products?
Oh,
Oh.
yes.
This is like big on TikTok.
Yes.
Super.
Yeah.
I did a story on what they're called personal shoppers. And when I heard that, I always associated that with like really ultra wealthy people who hire people to shop for them.
like a Neiman Marcus and Barney's.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what I
me too.
thought. And turns out that on TikTok, there's this whole community of people, a lot of them Latina women here in the U.S. who shop for people in Latin America. And they shop at stores like Ross, Marshalls, because these people want like Steve Madden, those American brands at a discount.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to me, the visual of it, because they go to Marshalls with their phone and they're like streaming live and like, oh, ¿te gusta esta bolsa? ¿Te gusta esta? ¿Cuál quieres? Esta te lo doy por 20, esta te lo doy por,
That is so.
18.
I've never got fed one of those. Now I'm gonna get.
Go
I'm gonna
look.
start.
Yeah, I wanna
New
look
business
now.
idea. New
I,
business idea.
I feel like my Mexican friends are my personal shoppers when they go to Mexico, though. Like,
yeah.
I'm
The
like, get
inverse.
on FaceTime, show me what's there. And
Yeah.
then I do it like that.
At the farmacia?
Yeah, farmacia. I'm like, what do I need? I don't know.
Tráete unos chongos.
So we actually have a video of this happening where people are asking Mexican personal shoppers. They're asking to have
Okay.
Mexican personal shoppers.
Oh.
Adobadas are on sale. Churrumais is on sale. Grupitos, Tostitos, Doritos. All of these
Tostitos.
chips right here that you see are on sale. If you want to get them, click on this link right here.
I mean, I love food.
Oh yeah, it seems like it's an economy, right?
No,
Yeah.
you know
Nobody
what,
else is doing it.
You know what that brings up, or what comes to mind, is the party district in downtown LA.
Yes.
Las piñatas.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the
puede
piñata
ser
district.
Tacos de carreta.
Yeah,
puede
by the
ser
callejones.
Los dulces. And it's a really big thing where a lot of they import a lot of the snacks to Mexico porque los venden to a premium to the stores, liquor
Yeah.
stores. If you go to any liquor store, 7-Elevens, they sell the Mexican chips at a high expensive
Not
price.
all of them. Like the Fritos Limon. They don't have the ones that are in Mexico.
Rancheritos and the hot Cheetos. Oh,
That's a good hack.
No.
I don't know this life. I don't know this life. I don't do spicy.
it's good. I mean, to an extent, I get it. But how we're saying, like, to paying a premium,
Yeah.
especially like we're talking about earlier off camera, the people that go to Costco and buy in bulk certain items to sell on eBay
Yeah.
for like
I don't like when they do
3
that.
times the price, and they can no te pases.
Abuso.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, no.
No, the Piñata District is a whole other world. It's like a one-stop shop for people not
The
familiar.
Flower District.
It's so fun.
Everything.
I love the Callejones, Santee Alley,
Yeah.
Maple and Olympic. Listen, I go there all the time and buy stuff, and I love. My favorite part is the hustle of it. Like it just like I don't know. I like.
Esa ya me lo da 10 y usted 15.
I'm like,
voy
no,
pa' allá.
Growing up in
and then you
LA,
walk
like
away.
that Saturday morning, you go with your mom and
I
you go
love-
shopping. You get new
Yeah.
shoes. You get a new outfit.
That's how you learn how to bargain. A regatear.
Yes.
I have a
Yeah,
story
for sure.
about bargaining. My dad was so used to doing that in Chicago at like the swap meets in the markets.
Yeah.
And we go to freaking. I remember this. I was 8 or 9. We go to Circuit City. People who know what Circuit City
Shout
is.
out to Circuit City.
Shout out to Circuit
It's like
City.
a Best Buy. It's a electronics store.
The OG
We're
Best
buying
Buy.
a TV. My
Radio
dad tells
Shack.
the guy. The guy speaks one word of Spanish, and my dad's like, "Oiga, no nos la da por 800?" And the guy's like, "Bro, I work for corporate
Like
Circuit
this
City.
is Circuit
I
City.
can't- I
Yeah.
can't-
The
He's
price is marked.
He's like, I'm gonna pay $7 an hour, bro. I don't know. Take it. Mira, take it. Yeah.
You know what though? I feel like that's real because like I remember my dad doing that here, and I'd be like, "Get pena, stop! Like we don't do that." And then we go to Mexico, and like everybody
Yeah.
moves like that. And I'm like, "Wait, yeah, why would I pay full price when I
Yeah.
can get it
Right.
for
It's
less?"
'cause
Bro.
think about it. Like even in the party district, which is kind of like a little resemblance of like when you go to the tianguis in Mexico, it's like, all right, these 3 people right here sell the same thing. ¿Quién lo va a vender
Yeah.
más barato?
Yeah. And then you go.
And they sell you, and they're
Yeah.
like, no, pues yo te lo vendo a 6.
Right.
No,
It's
yo
a
a
Chinatown.
5.
Chinatown in Nueva York. It's the same. I'm like, that's when I learned how to hustle. When I went to New York with my tía Clara, and she goes, mira, tú le preguntas cuánto, y cuando te dicen, you walk away.
You walk away.
Yep.
And I was like, no, but what about if I want
Hey,
it?
Right.
perfect example when we go to the dealership. Hey,
Yeah.
si no te da el
That's
precio,
the
tú
hardest.
levántate y tú te vas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that. I helped a man buy a car once.
But then sometimes they let you leave. And then they do like dramatic, like,
Yeah.
Wait, let me talk to the manager. Let me talk to the manager.
They call
Yeah, then they call you a million times.
They call you.
And I'm like, I don't want it. I've got a smart car and one person fits in it.
Going to the dealership is such a novela because it's like both parties are playing a drama scene.
Everyone's acting.
Yeah.
Look, hey, stand right here. I'll see what I can do.
Oh my, it's you know what? I think as Latinos, like we were talking about this earlier about money. We were not educated. I don't know if I'm writing my rent check right. Like where I live, they don't let me do anything digital. It's like I literally have to write a check and take it to them.
We asked an important question
that's
earlier.
wild.
Would you let your significant other borrow money if she asked for it?
That was a good conversation.
Yeah.
I think it's all about time and how old this person is.
Like how long you've been dating them.
Yeah, I was a mess in my 20s, like with my finances. Like I never asked for money, but like, ooh, we were struggling. And now, like if you're 30, 35 and you're like doing that, there has to be like a very explicit payment plan. For that, I think I would be
payment plan. That's smart.
I would be open to that if they have a vision and a strategy for
And like
how I'm gonna
also
get my money
what
back.
caused the debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you lend your credit. What about would you lend your credit to like somebody?
Hell no.
Hey.
That's next
At 10
level
years old,
stupida.
I already had 3 cars under my name.
I was like, me too.
No.
But I'm not kidding. I'm literally not. Oh my God.
Yo tengo número IT, no tengo social.
All I gotta say is listen, I did lend my credit to somebody when I was younger, but I will say I worked my off and now it's good.
How many?
Okay, lesson learned here. Everyone watching, do not lend your credit. Do
I
not
don't care.
do it.
No,
I don't care if it's your mom, your dad,
Nobody.
nadie. Like
That's yours.
No.
But you guys are acting like you had a choice at that age.
Well,
Your
yeah.
parents were doing it.
They were doing it.
Él no va a saber, no va a saber. And you already had credit cards. You
That
had a
is
car
so
loan.
Latino. That is so Latino. So.
And then you get 18, you're trying to buy your car. Well, your credit's only
Yeah,
like
and you're like-
400.
Oh my
Three
God.
repos under your name.
Yeah, you're like, but I had one credit card for $300 to build my credit, and like, no, bro, you don't even know what's going on in the back. Like,
Fernando, let me ask you this question. What is a piece of U.S. Latino history that has like most like astonished you?
Oh, that's such a good question. I've learned so much this last year of focusing on U.S. Latino history. You know what's interesting is we all know Afro-Mexicans exist. Afro-Mexican community is a beautiful community. A lot of people think it's like this like eclectic, like new wave, but they've been around for a long time. And Afro-Mexicans were actually part of the founding team of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
We were founded by half of the, I think it was like 20 people who came from what is now Mexico. Half of them were Afro mestizos and people with Afro indigenous lineage. And now what's interesting is a lot of them have moved to the U.S. So you'll find enclaves of them in L.A., North Carolina, South Carolina, and they're all around us. But similar to what we were getting at earlier about people don't understand where you're from, a lot of them just like group them as like, oh, you're Oaxacan. And it's like, no, they're not from Oaxaca, first of all.
Los oaxaqueños.
speaking of what you just said, like that just made me think of like I was having a conversation recently about how everybody is so mixed right now. And since you study a lot of like different types of history, yes, of Latino, but other things as well. Like, they say that like in like 20 years, everybody's like, there's not gonna be like that many straight up white people or straight up just like a Cuban or like it's gonna be so
Everyone's
mixed. And I love that personally because I don't know, I just think it's so dope when you find out like where you from and somebody says these 3 things and I'm like, oh, that's cool, you're beautiful.
Yeah, I think we're gonna start getting a lot more people. You know, you ask people like, where are you from? They're like, oh, well, that's a complicated question.
Yeah, everything's gonna be complicated. Be like, scan my QR code.
Yeah.
Here.
For my history.
Yeah.
I remember in high school, I subscribed to Time Magazine. I freaking love Time Magazine.
Time
I don't anymore, but I love it, but I don't subscribe anymore. But they had a cover that was like, this is what an American's going to look like in 2060. And it was a very ethnically ambiguous person.
Yeah.
I think it was 2060, the year they were talking about. But I was just at South by Southwest in Austin, and I interviewed La Coreañera. Her name is Abigail Pack. If she sounds Korean, it's because she is. She's Korean American, but she speaks fluent Spanish and sings cumbias. And she lives in Mexico City. And if you talk to her and you talk to me, you would assume that she's Mexican and that I'm like a 3rd generation pocho with Mexican roots. She is like such an interesting blend of cultures down there, and she's totally embracing cumbia culture respectfully, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that.
I think I love watching those videos of people that are like from like another country just doing
Lo que severamente, it's like the Japanese people that are so into Chicano culture.
There's a
That's
lot.
cool.
You know, and the slick
a
hair
big
back,
thing.
the
With the
lowriders.
lowriders.
I think like
Cortez.
Latino in general though too, because bro, like they like what is the Bad Bunny song? You know what I'm talking about?
En cuatro.
I'm like, what's the name? I can't say it right. I'm like,
Yeah,
Naguni?
but what he's,
I'm like, I don't want to say it wrong.
what he's talking about is literally like when you go
Yeah.
to Japan, like there's stores, there's
Yeah.
tiendas where the
That they look
girls
cholo?
are dressing are just
Really?
full chola, full cholo,
And there's-
LA everything.
and
I mean,
there's-
it's very LA West Coast.
And there's a lot of
Chicano.
Latinos, Mexicans that are starting businesses over there, bringing the culture
Oh.
to there.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not mistaken, La Michoacana has an ice cream in Dubai.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like anything Latino
Shout out
can
to the-
survive
shout out to the homie.
everywhere.
No, in Japan they have this one popular Mexican restaurant chain. It's like their Taco Bell kind of, and it's called Gomez y Guzman.
Oh, yes.
And it's like really big, and it's
Yeah.
like
So
the
funny.
go-to place for like tacos
¿Cómo
and
se
like
llama?
bowls. Gomez y Guzman.
Voy a Gomez y Guzman, fourth meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then La Michoacana in Dubai, and I believe his parents are from Zacatecas or Michoacan, but they started in Michoacan, and then that's like a wholesale name, but he brought it all the way to over there. So now all of his stores
Good
are
for
like
them.
all like kind of like a luxury ice cream, but it's an experience.
Well, I have a call out to everyone here and everyone watching. I have been trying to do a story in La Michoacana for months now because have you guys noticed how they all have slightly different names?
Yes.
La Michoacana Plus, La Michoacana
Yeah.
Ice Cream.
I can't confirm.
And
I think that Michoacana Plus is the one that went to Dubai.
okay, well, apparently there's a copyright dispute, and that's why no one knows who owns the trademark.
Oh.
That's what I've heard. And so
I had
if
them
you're
at my wedding too.
oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. I had a paleta truck.
I need your contact.
Yeah.
If you own a La Michoacana, reach out because
So there's like a bunch of them,
Also,
like different names. Is
The
that what
ice cream varies and it tastes different.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Depending on the Michoacana you go
Hey,
to.
nieve de garrafa o de agua? Oh.
That's
De
like
agua, de agua.
That's like Mama Lou's in Monterey Park. There's a good one and a bad one.
Yeah, no.
That's it. They have the same exact name.
I'll show you the guy that I know that went to Dubai. For
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Connect
If it
us.
went to Dubai, it's legit.
Yeah. It's for real.
Speaking of trademarks, you actually did a story about Taco Bell and the
Yes.
way that it started.
Oh.
Can you
Yes.
talk to us about
yes.
that?
Taco Bell is such a controversial issue.
Is
Okay,
it?
first off,
No, it's not real.
is it Mexican food? Real quick, is it Mexican food?
No.
I mean, for me in Miami, it was Mexican meal and it was my fourth meal when I was back at the clubs. And
It's like saying the Jack in the Box tacos are Mexican.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Okay, well, Taco Bell's website says it's Mexican inspired, and I think they do that because they know people get a little testy about it. But Taco Bell, it's a very California story. There's this taco shop. It's in the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, and it's called Mitla, I believe. I might be getting the name wrong, but there was this taco shop that was doing like the tacos dorados, but the very Americanized version. And this guy, I forget his name, but it's the Taco Bell founder, saw that, and he saw that people loved going there for those tacos. So he created a rival restaurant where he made those tacos.
Mr. Bill.
Literally Mr. Bell. And then the first official Taco Bell was in Downey.
Wow.
There's a lot of Cubans in Downey.
There are Portos.
That's all that's all I know about Downey.
So it's like, could you be mad at Taco Bell? I mean, you could be mad that they stole the idea, right?
Well,
but it's the food is essentially the same as this Mexican restaurant.
Yes, well, what's interesting, that Mexican restaurant, the owners have been interviewed of the original Mexican restaurant, and they're like, yeah, we came and we taught him like the ways, and they're fine with it. They're like, he went and took it and built this whole business out of it, and we still have our regular customers who come to the restaurant.
Did
They're
he give
like,
them money?
chilling.
I hope people still support them.
Yeah.
Yeah, people still go. And
I'd
they
be like, here's money.
You guys got to go to the IE, to the
Okay,
Dino.
Yeah.
well, is Taco Bell still considered Mexican food? Because their latest item on their menu is actually skincare eye patches.
What?
Yeah, they're gonna be called the Baja Blast
Ew, qué asco.
eye patches. What do we think about
Mira,
that?
there's white people only wearing
Es
them.
porque estamos cansados.
Honestly, yeah.
Las
The
ojeras, las
Mountain Dew
ojeras.
Baja Blast Tropical Lime eye patches.
Honestly,
No.
ojeras are Mexican. I don't care what anyone says. Ojeras are Mexican.
That's true.
We work hard.
That's true.
Hey,
Do
we
they
don't-
know their audience?
Hey, we don't believe in 3-day weekends, eh? We don't believe in 3-day weekends.
No.
We work Friday, Saturday. Y si se puede el domingo, el
Sí, claro.
domingo.
Yeah, always.
Hey, can you imagine pulling up? Yeah, let me get some Supreme tacos, and it's like 2 a.m. Yeah, let me get some eye patches
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
next day.
That's not a bad idea though, because like I'm already tired from the club, and now I can get my meal and put on my eye
But
patches.
respectfully, if you're drinking a Baja Blast, you have other things to worry
I
about.
mean,
so.
literally, like you've got so many things to worry worry about with the blast all over, blast everywhere.
Let's be honest. 2 a.m, or say 1 a.m. Where are you really going for fast food at that time?
Okay. In college, it was Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box.
That's right.
Yeah, 2 tacos for 99 cents.
I was doing that later because in Miami you weren't showing up to a club till 12.
Right.
That's true.
And like, now this isn't like a flex. It's just that's what it was.
My bad, G.
Mira,
AK,
I like to party.
But
so
I
like,
feel like
I
these
didn't
eye
answer.
patches would be a great gag gift. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be purchasing them I hope to not wear them. But like, this is a great like joke.
I'm like, are they edible? That would be crazy.
No.
That would be part of the
But
midnight
would you
snack.
even eat that?
Well,
What? My face is clean.
what about
After the club?
I mean, I want to say, listen, if you're going after the club, mira, no rules.
Me faltan electrolytes.
No rules. No rules. And you're like,
Sal de la cara.
it's kind of like a smart thing because it's like te está preparando for the next morning to wake up like a little bit less like with the cruda look.
No.
Like you might have the cruda, but you're not gonna look like you.
My
have the
guy's
cruda.
right. If you're going to talk about 2 a.m, you're going to have some other problems.
Yeah.
That's not one of them.
Yeah.
Mira, pero it's like you get skinny in the morning.
Okay, Fernando, something that we love about your content is that it's not like sensationalized, right? Like saying something for like clickbait and all of that, and you've had a lot of content that has gone viral. So how do you separate journalistic integrity from the pressure of needing to make content like viral?
Okay, USC college class. I feel like I'm in school right now. That's such a good question because
No
it's
fue al colegio.
something I'm very mindful of because I love that anyone can post content now. I truly do love that. I think it's great that it's democratized. At the same time, I think there is a responsibility for people who do informational content to be responsible about it. And I think the more journalists we have doing it, the more it kind of cancels everyone out that you can like fact check people. So, I mean, I went to journalism school and I teach journalism now. So that's important for me to, one, not be sensationalistic, but also I always try to show my work. Like, where did I get this from?
Yeah.
Is this my reporting or am I attributing it to Eater? That's a Taco Bell story. They did the reporting on Taco Bell. So always kind of like showing your work. I think it's super important, and I always try to do it.
Do you
Because
believe Gen Z and Gen Alpha take information a lot different?
yes. Oh, yeah, I hear from my students firsthand. I remember I had a guest speaker from Rolling Stone, and I told them we're going to have a writer from Rolling Stone, and their face was just like,
What?
what? Like, what is that?
Really?
Yeah.
They don't read magazines.
Wow.
Nobody gets magazines anymore.
Tag their IG. If
They
you
don't
put their
read.
IG, they'll know.
They don't
Yeah.
read.
They're
No,
not
but they're
reading.
so smart, but they don't read. How's that happening?
They read
yeah.
ChatGPT.
That's crazy to me because we used to read and write like so
Right.
much in
So
school.
much. And they had that thing where like when you wrote an essay, they would check it if you were cheating. And
Turn
I'm
it
like,
in or whatever. Yeah.
so annoying.
Wait, so as a professor, can you tell when a student is using ChatGPT?
Ooh.
No, because when it first started the wave, I was amazed by this student. I was like, this guy's a genius. And I referred him for an internship.
Oh no.
And he got hired, and then it went bad, and he was like accused of plagiarism. And I was like, oh, the reason his work was perfect was because he was using
oh no.
ChatGPT.
That's
Now
smart.
I think I'm more privy to it, but a lot of the assignments we give are more creative.
Got
I
you.
guess you could generate a video now. Shoot, things have changed really quickly.
Now there's a million. It's not even
Yeah.
ChatGPT
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, I
like
think
now,
it would be like, sit down and write for 5 hours.
Right.
Yeah. Well, would you accept a video as an essay? Like if a student, like you're like, oh, write like 10, 20 pages, whatever, and they send you like a 20-minute.
No,
like a page is a
because
minute?
That means you
That's
can't
not
read
the assignment.
instructions. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know,
Well,
just wondering.
you got to think about it. Back in the day, if you would get in trouble, they would be like, write 100 times this sentence. And now, like, my little sister comes home with the tablet and she's doing classes on a laptop. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Do you
But
guys know how to write cursive?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a flex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
You
lot
can
of
understand it, but I could
it's
write
a
it.
flex, but it also shows our age.
Yeah.
Because they don't even teach that.
Yeah, I don't know how to
anymore.
write it. What's cursive? I don't know.
What is that?
What is
I
that?
don't know.
That's so crazy.
Fernando, where can people find more of your content? Are you primarily on YouTube, social media?
Yes, you can find my In The Hyphen mini docs and all my short form content on YouTube. Just go to @byfernando with an H at the end in honor of my last name.
Ooh.
So,
Hey.
thank you so much for having so much integrity.
I know. I feel like we could go on and on.
I know.
Thank you.
Listen, we need to learn a little bit more. Maybe come back next week.
I know we need to be smarter in here.
Yeah.
No, this is
we
great.
read, but oh, you know.
Thank you so much. I've been watching this show. I love the sets. It's so cool to be here. And
Oh,
I love what you guys are
yay.
doing.
Thank you so much.
Great lighting we have in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
great
who
producers.
are your favorite? Who are your favorite?
They're
You're
not
putting
here
them on the
today.
spot.
Damn.
I didn't hear him. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? What do you say?
Favorite.
They promised him somebody else, and he was
I was like, wait, where are they?
He's like, I thought I was coming for Angie.
I'm out.